Welcome to Everyday Linux User. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to install Fedora Linux as your main operating system on your computer. So to start off with, we need to go and get Fedora. So open a web browser. And in the address bar, type fedoraproject.org. So there's various versions available. There's a workstation, which is the one we'll be installing. There's a server, a community server, Internet of Things, a cloud version. That's one for another day. And then we've got the Core OS, which is a container optimized version of the operating system. Another one for another day. So what we're going to do is click on the download link. And then you'll see here there's various options. You can go for the live ISO. If we do that fashion, then we can use Berliner Etcher to create a USB drive. There's the ARM versions. These are for Raspberry Pi, and then PowerPC versions. What I'm going to try is the Fedora Media Writer. So I'm going to click on the Windows version here. And you can see that's downloaded in the bottom left-hand corner. Now that's finished, we're going to double-click on the exe. It is worth noting you're going to need an empty USB drive, or one where you don't mind the data being overwritten. So if you've got that, put that into your drive now. And I'd recommend a USB drive of 4 GB or more on it. So click I agree at the license agreement, and then click install. Note that there are versions for Windows, Mac and Linux, so this tool is available for most systems. Now we're going to minimize this and click next. And then it will ask you whether you want to run Fedora Media Writer now. If you don't run it now, then you can click on your start button and you can start typing Fedora here. And you can see it will appear here. So you can run it either from here or you can have it launch automatically. So click finish. So you can choose to download automatically, select an ISO file, or store. So I'm going to choose download automatically because I haven't got an ISO file. So click next, and they've got various versions you can choose. You've got the official versions, which are the ones we discussed earlier. So we've got Workstation, Internet of Things, or Server. Emerging editions, I'm not sure what they are. So Silver, Blue, and Kinoit. I assume that's how you spell that, say that. And they've got various spins. So KDE, all the different desktop environments available, and then lab versions. So you've got Fedora Games Edition. So Fedora's got lots of different options available. So I'm going to go for an official edition, and I'm going to go for Fedora Workstation. I'm going to click next. You can choose which version you want. I want the latest, so 38 in my case. My hardware. Now, I'm going to install onto this PC and another PC. They're both Intel, so I'm going to choose the 64-bit version, and the drive I'm going to write to is this USB drive here. It's 8 GB. And then you can choose whether to delete the download after writing, which you might want to do to clear up disk space on your drive. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to just click download and write. And you'll see that Fedora will start downloading. It's interesting, out of all the distributions that I've reviewed thus far and done installation guides for, this is the first one that's got its own official installer to create the USB drive in the first place. All the others suggest using other tools like Win32 Media Writer or Berliner Etcher or some other tool. But Fedora has got their own tool for creating the USB drive. And so the download is now complete. It's now writing the image to the USB drive. As you can see, the writing process is coming along nicely, about halfway through now. It does take about 15 minutes to do, so you can go and do something else and then come back to it a bit later on. And as you can see, we're now coming to the end of the write process. Once the data has been written to the drive, there's a check part that then checks that the ISO has been written to the drive correctly. This doesn't take quite so long, but still takes a few minutes Finally, once the check is finished, you'll see this message: Fedora workstation successfully written, and whatever version number it is. And you can restart and boot from your chosen drive. So at this point, if you're installing to a new machine, you would take the USB drive out and put it into the machine that you're putting Fedora onto. You can close this window now. So I'm going to reboot the computer, and we're going to press the F7 key, or whatever key it is that brings up your boot menu. You'll see the words entering boot menu, and then you're going to choose the USB drive. So in this case, the SanDisk Cruiser, and then you can select the start Fedora Workstation Live 38, and it should now boot into Fedora Live Image, which is what you will use to install Fedora. When Fedora starts, click the Install Fedora button. Choose your installation language from the left-hand side, and then choose the dialect, i.e. American English or UK English, from the right-hand side. Depending on your language, it will depend on what appears in the right-hand side. Select your keyboard layout by clicking the plus button and then choosing your language. Click the Done button in the top left-hand corner when you've finished. Then select the time option and choose where you are on the map. This sets your time and date, and then click Done again in the top left-hand corner. Click on the installation destination and then select the disk that you want to install Fedora onto. If you're installing onto a disk that already has an operating system and you want to replace that operating system, i.e. use the whole drive, click the Free Up Space option under Storage Configuration, and then click Done in the top left corner. A screen will appear asking you to reclaim disk space. If you want to reclaim the entire drive and install Fedora to the entire drive, click the top level as I have, i.e. the 58.2 gigabytes, and then click the Delete All button. Then when the Reclaim Space button appears, click Reclaim Space. Finally, once you're back at the main installer screen, click on the Begin Installation button. Fedora will now install itself to your drive, replacing any other operating system and files that are installed on your computer. Please make sure you've backed up anything that you want to keep prior to this process, otherwise it will be lost. When the installation is complete, reboot your computer and remove the USB drive, and you should boot into Fedora Linux. And you can see the Fedora logo is loaded in the bottom. So here we are, we're in Fedora, and we're at the setup. All we have to do is click Start Setup. You can choose whether to connect to internet or not. I'm connected to a wired internet, so I don't need to do this, but you just choose your Wi-Fi connection and then enter the Wi-Fi password and you'd be connected. You can skip that if you're already on a wired connection like I am. You can choose whether to have location services on or off. These are on by default. I've turned them off automatically. And then click Next, and you can choose whether to enable third-party repositories. I've enabled them, so this is the default state it comes in. So click Enable, click Next. Then you can choose online accounts, whether Gmail or Office 365, etc. Click Skip for that, and then you can create a username. So I've created a username called Gary. Click Next, and then you set a password. I typed in password. The reason you're seeing this and it's all filled in is because I accidentally didn't press the record on the video when I did it the first time, so I'm having to go through it again. But essentially just type in your password and repeat it here, then click Next, and all done, and you can start using Fedora Linux. And that's the end of the video. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up, and please subscribe for more content from Everyday Linux User. Thank you for watching.